Bill C8, this new bill, I mean, this one really takes the cake. This one is not just like stopping you from being able to say what you say on the internet. And a lot of people are like, and this is the crazy part. People are not thinking correctly about how to avoid this one. People are telling each other on the internet, oh, get yourself a VPN. Make sure, you use a Tor browser, things like that. It's not going to help you, and the government can shut you down at the ISP level. And what I mean by that is the government will be able to, and not through any judicial process, no warrants, nothing like that. The Minister Joly, with the guy, I can never pronounce his name, safety minister, will be able to coordinate because they don't like you and what you're doing on the internet, and have your service provider shut you down without a warrant, without any court order, and without you even knowing what's happening. You won't even be allowed to ask them why. They won't be allowed to tell you. They just have to say, sorry, we just can't provide you service anymore. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy when you think about it, that one day Rogers or TELUS or whatever company that one of the monopolies, a few companies that we have in Canada, will just shut your service off one day. You'll try to contact them, and then they won't be able to tell you why. That's it. And we're talking internet, home phone, cell phone. Won't be able to connect to the internet there either. What were the repercussions of this? You said something that somebody didn't like on the internet, and they shut your life off. You won't be able to access your bank account. You won't be able to access job banks if you're looking for jobs and you don't currently have one. You won't be able to even access your payroll. Most payroll goes through internet services. This is unbelievable. And it really is a way for the government to shut people off. That's it. It's scary, and it's scary for good reason. And this isn't hyperbole. This is literally what's written in the bill. And they might say, well, I mean, that's not what we're going to do with it. Don't ever take a government at their word that they're not going to do something when they give themselves a power to do it. They didn't even have the power to take people's bank accounts away. And they did that during the Freedom Convoy. They did it illegally. It was ruled by a court judge that the Emergencies Act that they declared was done unlawfully. And yet they still did it, and there's no accountability. So don't expect them to not use the powers that they're granting themselves here. It's really Orwellian and terrifying.
The guy, the safety minister, Gary Anand Sandgri, I butcher it, but that's all right. We get the point. We get the point. I keep going back to a conversation I had with Ron Wallace and Tammy Nemeth, because we were talking about the National Energy Board and national infrastructure projects, right? And this Bill C5 they brought in that basically allows them to push national infrastructure projects, essentially. I'm butchering it a little bit, folks, but you get the point. And what concerned him back then, which is only, I don't know, a month ago, was that they were taking the power out of experts' hands. And I always joke about that word because we all know what we think of that word. But regardless, people looking at the economic feasibility of a project and putting it in the minister's hands. And what he was pointing out was, now you're dealing with ideology. So now we're going to save the world. And so this project, whether it costs 20 billion, 50 billion, you get the point. As long as it is going to the goal of, getting us carbon neutral or whatever, they're going to push it forward. And now you have a bunch of people or ministers who don't have background in building these projects, pushing them. And once again, this Bill C8, when you talk about it giving the power to the ministers, to me, it's starting to look more and more like we're going to push all the power into a small group of people who I think concerns both of us and should concern more Canadians, to have ultimate power over the direction of our country. And I think that's been the case for a long time, but now they're putting laws in place to really solidify it. And we're like this Bill C8. It's not hyperbole to say, if this comes in, how long until they pull Clyde or Jasmine Lane or I don't know, just take your picks of who you want. Rebel News, like on and on and on. Western Standard. I don't know. Like, I don't think that's really throwing gas on the fire. I think the fire is already a giant flame, isn't it?
Well, there's a lot to swallow there. I mean, Bill C-8 will pass. It will pass. It will pass. Whether it passes in this form, iteration, or it comes back as Bill C-9. I mean, this is the way these bills work. They want this. It was Bill C-63 before, and there were different provisions in Bill C-63, but along similar lines. And don't worry, Bill C-63 is going to come back as well. But you get into Bill C-5, which I don't know what the actual verbiage was for the name of the bill. But I mean, it should have been called the Joseph Stalin bill or the Mao Zedong bill. I mean,
Bill C-5, just to hop in for a sec, officially titled an act to enact
yeah,
the
right.
Free Trade and Labor Mobility in Canada Act and the Building Canada Act, also known as the One Canadian Economy Act.
That should scare people. The One Canadian Economy. We're supposed to be a lot of provinces. We're all supposed to have our own autonomy. But this is central authority. This is central planning. And this is why I'm absolutely disappointed in the Conservatives for going along with this. And I know why they did, because they thought, well, power is going to shift one day and then we're good guys. We'll be able to use this central authority in a good way. Isn't that how all bad guys start with their whole idea? But the idea here is that the government knows better than the economy. The government knows better than entrepreneurs and knows better than everybody else. And they're looking at the situation. They're going, well, people don't want to invest in infrastructure. Well, duh. They don't want to invest in infrastructure because every time they do or they try to, they lose money in Canada.
Hey, folks, thanks so much for checking out the clip from the Sean Newman podcast. If you've enjoyed this part of the conversation, you can find the full conversation right here on YouTube. The link is in the description. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join us for more insightful chats here every week, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. We're releasing new content. We'll see you on the next one.